Today marks the end, I think.
Yeah. Hello everybody. Happy Sunday. I'm happy to be here, and I'm even happier that Tifa gets to sit next to me, because we both had a near-death experience earlier today.
It was an interesting day.
So, today was a Pokemon Go event. That's not interesting. We went for a bigger walk. Super boring stuff. On the way home, we decided we walk a detour. And there's this little park kind of area nearby. And for the last 30 minutes, it's been windy. As in, there's been no wind, except once every 10-15 minutes, there's this kind of wind. Just gusts. Nothing that I've ever seen or experienced in my life that makes me go, oh yeah, no, this is not good. I should be really careful with my life. So we're walking and we are under a big tree. A little bit ahead of us is a young couple with their child on bicycles, and they're standing there.
And all of a sudden, I think it starts thundering.
No, it sounded
really loud.
It sounded kind of like rain hitting a tree, like the leaves. You know, the pitter-patter sound of rain on leaves.
But way louder.
But then their expression changed, and the sound, I realized, was slightly different, and they screamed at us, "Watch out!" I do the thing I was born to do, run away. So I bolt forward.
Run.
If you have seen that meme, that short clip of the new Flash movie, where Barry Allen, I think is the character's name, runs around without CGI, where it looks like kind of like this. Imagine that, except with terror in my eyes. And I wasn't breathing. So I'm bolting forward, almost stumbling over my own feet, like catching myself, running, and I look to the side and I don't see Tifa.
It took me a bit longer to realize.
And then I hear a tree break. In that moment, everything you can possibly think of went through my head. I'm not going to go into details because then that will be the rest of the stream. I turn around and Tifa is still like...
I didn't realize that couple was screaming at me to run. A mile
behind me. It was only like 50 yards, 20 meters, something like this. I cannot run. This body wasn't made for that. This is a body made for clerical work and video games. Anyway, so I see her standing there, like...
I at least jumped to the side.
Away from the tree, and suddenly this huge tree branch just breaks off, moves, and just dangles there.
It dangled on like this super tiny bit, and it's like...
Oh. It wouldn't have hit her at that point. Even if it had fallen clean off, it wouldn't have hit her, thankfully.
No, because I jumped to the side.
You didn't jump.
I did jump.
I cannot tell whether you jumped.
You were running forward, which is kind of the more sensible thing.
But I felt like I ran for 15 minutes. It was probably closer to 2 seconds. But I feel like in the time I was running, you should have gotten further away.
Well, yeah, I basically like jumped to the side, and then I was like, something coming?
So...
like running forward didn't really come into my mind at that point.
And then we went home. And then I calmed down, as you should. And then the massive headache I had from the adrenaline just spiking into my skull slowly subsided, and now I'm here. And I've told Tifa we will never leave the apartment again, because that can't happen if I stay inside and play video games. Yes.
So yeah, now we get to stay inside all the time.
I was wondering, is it because I eat vegetables? Previous methods didn't show, never mind. Is Twitch being weird again?
Was your previous message oof? Because then it did come true. Otherwise...
I have a feeling honest side because aware that we have a chat overlay where messages can be seen.
But I don't really see the chat overlay.
At least we're not disconnecting and reconnecting every 2 seconds. But... Objection! How could you see the Tifa if you ran away? I turned around. I ran first.
You ran until like that couple and then you turned around.
It felt like I ran way far, but that's not the point. I ran and then I realized at some point like I'm worried about my safety but also of hers, so I checked where she was and I like did this and then I didn't see her. And so I turned around fully and when I saw her. I guess I need to change my testimony. Oh, God damn.
Please start over and include this in it.
Yeah. What I just said basically. The story beats mine this morning. What happened to you?
What did you do this morning?
Also,
must be something in the air today.
If it was less of that, I'm already happy for you. Because I've never had an experience like this. And I was better off.
Well, I'd rather not get hit by a tree, yeah.
Yeah. I had earwig tea this morning.
Earwig? What's earwig?
The like amber brownish stuff you get out of your ear with Q-tips and stuff.
Oh.
Oh wait, no, an Ohrenkneifer. Oh wait, that's an insect. Oh wait, earwax. That's the stuff
I was gonna say the bug. Did
earwig.
it add more protein?
I hate those. I hate those. They're so small and so fast.
It's basically their back with those weird ass pinchers that kind of creep me out. I don't even think they can.
I'm not even gonna
anyone.
show this on screen because they're nightmare fuel to me. Like those are so weird because the front half looks kind of like a grasshopper but streamlined, and then suddenly the back half looks like a pincer, like the Pokemon.
I was gonna say like a big ant, but
that doesn't make it better.
I don't think they can.
Ew. Honestly. But
did it like fall into your seat?
I wish it had been earwax at that point. That would also be disgusting.
I'm not sure what I would prefer. I think the bug. I feel like the earwax would change the flavor of your tea a lot.
Listen, the earwax, I would just pour the tea away. The earwig, I would be morally conflicted because I'm the kind of guy, I help out insects, like I throw them out of the apartment. So I'm thinking, do I save this thing from drowning or do I let it die because of its being an abomination and it fell in there somehow, so I guess this is like fate?
I do feel a bit bad for the bug, but I have a feeling it was probably already like in your mug. Like I've seen them in like a cupboard before.
It was probably there when I poured the hot water and so boiled it alive, I'm afraid.
Nah, poor thing.
Might as well have drank it, man.
Can't let its death be in vain.
I'm just saying, it's already done. No, I would have done the same thing. Did you pour the whole thing away then? Because I probably would have. Like I know there is like nothing to be worried about because if I added boiling hot water, then like it's sterilized, you know. But
of course. Here I was thinking I probably wouldn't, but you know.
It depends on the insect. Like in summer, we've talked about this before, we are prone to get these little shitty small flies in the apartment. And sometimes I just fish them out and then I keep drinking what I'm drinking. If it's like several, then I consider it. If it was like a larger thing, I would probably not still drink it. But
yeah, I guess.
Fair. With an earwig, no. Was it a really big one too? Like, I mean, they don't get this big, but they're like...
It was like this big.
Like this? Like...
They don't turn that big.
I've seen things, Tifa.
I've
seen things. I have a small 1 centimeter-ish. Okay, fair enough. So more like my pinky nail.
Where on earth is the...
The Zollstock.
I was gonna say, I had a measurement thing here. Give me this.
I don't know what you call these things in English, but...
a measurement stick.
Funnily enough, in German we call them a Zollstock. Zoll is the German word for inch in this case, which is really weird because it's in centimeters. So why would it show inches?
Why do you fully... I was only gonna go for 1 centimeter.
This thing is 1 meter long. So like super tiny, just this bit. The really cool thing with these is that you can like fold these and then you can scratch your back with it. What other things do you use these for? Tell me.
I mean, handy enough. That makes me itchy.
That was not my intention. I think in my entire life, whenever I held one of these... Oh, it's a nunchuck. Pow.
And then all of a sudden it fully unlocks.
Yeah, and then first it hits you and then like it breaks off and then it jumps into my eye, into my teeth.
Basically...
Good thing it doesn't do that. But I was saying, I'm pretty sure in my life I've held these things more to play around with them than to actually do productive work measuring things.
I really enjoy the... Don't know if you can hear that. The clicking sounds.
Yes, this is now suddenly a household object ASMR stream, right?
And the little bit of, it's called in English, widerstand?
Resistance.
The resistance you get when you move it, and then it like snaps into place. It's really relaxing to play with.
Here's round number 2. There you go. That's all you're getting of that.
So yeah, there's that.
Yeah,
But I fully get it. I prefer my tea bug-free as well.
Yes. If I could swap with you, honest psycho, I wouldn't. Because then you had to go through what I went. And it wasn't nice.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Maybe one day we can all share a cup of earwig tea. Actually, let's not do it. I don't think I've ever... Are there drinks made of boiling other living beings?
I'm quite sure that exists.
That sounds horrible. Like it sounds so. Please, no. No.
I'm just gonna Google insect tea.
No. I was going to say it sounds so horrible. I'm pretty sure somebody must have thought of it, and now teeth.
Oh yes, that is actually a thing.
There are apparently teas made from
drop of insect dropping. So it's basically insect poop tea.
Okay, I find that to be really weird, but I prefer that over taking insects, grinding them into a paste and boiling that.
It's mainly a thing in Southeast Asia.
I'm closing that page. I don't need that in my life.
You're pretty cool.
Gonna buy see-through mugs now. Yeah, we have those as well, and that can come really handy. Yeah.
I feel like it's not going to work because in these situations it's gonna float like in the middle and then you can't see it.
Option C, bullet to the head. Of the insect, potentially.
Hey, some people pay for that little bit extra you had today, apparently.
I don't know why, but I remember like food items with protein from insect in it becoming like a trend.
Well, it was mainly thought of as like a way of eating meat protein foods that are good for you and don't impact the environment a lot.
As much.
Yeah. So it's like fried tarantulas are apparently really good. Grasshoppers.
My dad once tried, what was it? Was it deep fried mealworm or grasshopper?
That was grasshopper at the little
think also mealworm.
Asian food market. No, I don't think he had mealworm before.
I think both.
I'm quite sure I bought him a portion of grasshoppers.
No, one to try out. I remember you specifically asking, like, hey, I don't want the whole thing, I just want one. Yeah, and you gave him like 50 cents or whatever.
I really don't think he had mealworm, so...
I don't know, but somebody eats it. I don't. I wouldn't want to either.
I mean...
You can have my next bug tea, Tifa. That is really sweet of you to offer that. That is... sharing is caring.
Yes,
I will stick to my black tea with a bit of honey for my throat. Thank you very much.
Enjoy.
You know what I would also enjoy with my cup of tea, Tifa? You doing what is hopefully, potentially, the last recap of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Do it.
We are
Still in episode 5, we're still Phoenix Wright.
In episode 5, yes, you are very correct. We are currently trying to get Gant in the electric chair. We have... Well, it's kind of what's going to happen.
That's what we would like to happen, potentially. I mean, I'm against the death penalty, so... Anyway, we're still trying to get to Gant, but yes.
So yeah, we're currently at the last bit where we try to talk to Gant about everything that is wrong with his testimony and everything, and he has provoked his rights as, what's he again?
You cannot provoke a right.
Yeah, true. He has...
We learned that as the chief of police, chief of detectives? Well, as the chief.
He has the right to not talk in his testimony or to not talk
to not
in
give
trial.
testimony.
So
which
he can plead the fifth, basically.
He didn't use at first until we debated him into a corner, proving very clearly that he is responsible for the actions that led to all of this, and that he has many motives. Well, one actually, but anyway, his own personal gain. We got him to the point where he said he doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself, actually. And then, basically, when we were just about to nail him to the law book, basically, verbally of course, he went like, you know what, I just remembered I have my rights as a chief, as an executive, whatever, so I will not keep talking.
So I'm gonna leave and have a lunch date, but he didn't leave before threatening Lana.
Yes.
That in case she will talk, he will nail his sister to the cross, basically.
Yeah. If Lana takes the stand, because Phoenix wants her to take the stand to now give her testimony, finally...
Which is sus as fuck already.
If that were to happen, then Emma would be found guilty of the murder of Neil Marshall. I don't know how or why he just says these things, but he didn't elaborate, he just left after that.
Yeah, and now we're going to get Lana to the stand, and we're trying to squeeze the truth out of her.
Yes.
And I have a feeling that's gonna take a long time before we're going to get there, and after that we can finish this trial, which should... I
hope so.
Hopefully we can do that in this stream. Like, it can't be much longer at this point. Like, Lana has to be the last part of what we have to do. Like, we're running out of options now.
In the walkthrough, I still have open as for backup. We are on the last stretch. This is the last part. I'm not gonna check that, because if I scroll down on this, my eyes are gonna catch the words and then I spoil myself.
Fair.
So I won't.
So yeah. This might be the end.
That's our plan.
Like gonna have some clear skies ahead.
Hopefully.
I said the thing. Wow.
She said the title.
I said the thing.
Wow, Tifa. Hopefully there's gonna be at least one clear sky, preferably two. Fingers crossed. In front of our backs, not behind.
No, that means you're lying and we're not gonna finish now. This is all on you if we don't. I'm telling you.
You ruined it.
You ready?
Yes. Press the buttons.
Let's go.
Rise from the ashes. February 25th, 2:21 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Now then!
There we go.
Will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand?
I'm hoping for very little amounts of bullshit.
Not gonna happen. I don't think so.
Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're... Wait. What happened to the name and occupation?
She had already given testimony previously, so she doesn't need to repeat it.
I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Almost like you are an unborn baby chicken. That is another egg. Yes. Hello, mommy. Happy Sunday. How are you doing?
Well, we can argue that it's not the egg, but...
I mean, before a baby chicken is born, it is inside an egg usually, yes.
I don't know why I had to think of that weird... It's a delicacy in China
No,
as well.
no. We are not talking about that.
But you know which dish I mean, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and I... No! Yeah, exactly.
How
Exactly.
are you doing, mommy?
I kicked her under the table for this. No. No.
So,
No.
Edgeworth.
No. But one thing we missed during the recap, Edgeworth had a character development arc and is now not pursuing guilty verdicts like an obsessed man that he is, but he is now sworn to protect and find the truth. So there was this really cool like tag team scene where him and Phoenix Wright were like working together. Unfortunately, it didn't last very long. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. Hey, thank you for the resub.
10 months already. Thank you very
Crazy how
much.
time flies. I feel like
It goes so fast.
we've been playing this game for 10 months. It's actually been 7 weeks, I think. Oh wait, we're on a vacation, more like 9, but yeah.
Something around that time. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Appreciate
indeed.
it.
And remember, you're under oath. We want to hear the truth. The truth.
As if anyone so far cared about that in this stand. But sure.
Totally not fishy. Of course.
The truth.
The truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Yeah.
Are we talking like emotionally or on paper? Because one you can change, the other you don't. I think.
Well, that's one way to ruin the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I understand partially why Lana is doing the things she's doing, but at what point do you take the chance to fight back against a person blackmailing you? You know, they just killed another one of your friends.
Well, until
At
the
least
point
once.
that she's no longer scared.
I would like that moment to come soon, because I don't want Gant to get off scot-free. The goods are playing Spirit of Justice, the final main game.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
How are you liking
So
it?
you're in the first trial now? How is it compared to the previous one so far?
I believe at the very least it's 3-dimensional.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I like that.
I'm 3-dimensional.
Yeah, but sometimes in a game, depending on how the art is, I feel like that kind of ruins it when they go from 2D to 3D.
Also smooth, I expected her to repeat her answer. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, but like for example, Wings Club. If anyone used to watch that. It used to be a TV show, not a game, but it is the same kind of thing. For a couple of seasons it was 2D, and I kind of enjoyed that show, fair is fair.
It's a guilty pleasure. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they swapped to 3D.
All of a sudden, at like season 7.
It's still all of a sudden. There was no indication that all of a sudden it's 3D. And it was completely ruined. Couldn't watch it anymore. And it's
Not
like,
every art style translates to more dimensions. That one didn't.
That was absolutely crap.
Like it looked so bad it made me not watch anymore. I don't think we finished it after that, did we?
No.
Yeah, well.
Never seen the end of it.
Just finished the first trial, pretty decent up until now. I hope it stays that way.
I'll take it.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. If the only chance we have to get Gant.
How about we now also threaten to do something to her sister which is worse than what Gant can do so that she says the truth?
I don't like that as a concept.
It's for the greater good.
I mean, going with your idea for just a moment, you remember what happened to the last guy that took Emma hostage, right?
Yeah, we don't have to take her hostage, just threaten to do something.
I'm just saying, maybe another armor with a sword spear kind of thing suddenly shows up.
I mean, obviously that's fine in Discord.
Also, look behind Lana to the left and to the right. Do you see those like flagpole thingies? They look very spiky. Would be a shame if somebody stumbled backwards, tripped and fell onto one of those. I do know a certain infamous clown woman is in this game for anyone interested in that sort of stuff.
infamous clown woman.
I think the character was mentioned before when I made a joke about like with Resident Evil, a lot of the fandom for the Phoenix Wright games are not in it for the gameplay of the characters, but because they're horny for some reason. And then people were like, oh yeah, there's this clown. I think the name was mentioned too, but I don't remember.
Okay, I have no clue.
We'll get there when we get there.
Are we ready for the testimony?
Gant and the fabrication.
Let's see if she's gonna be honest immediately or not. I doubt it.
Nah, we have to work for this one.
I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Sure.
Lana, we know your motive. You're trying to protect your sister.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana!
If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
But what if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself.
I'm recently doubting.
Defense may now begin its cross-examination.
I have no idea why. Again, everyone else already knows what Emma did nothing to protect her from.
It's already out.
Exactly.
Like, what are we gonna do?
I would imagine, based on what we've learned during this trial, at the very least, no matter what the outcome is, Emma, or what happened there, needs to be investigated again, right?
Well, I think she believes that Gant has the power to stop all of that.
Oh, so the ultimate blackmail is do literally everything I say and nothing bad ever happens to you?
I mean, in his position, he can probably stop that case from happening if
oh
they
no,
are
a
going
clerical
to
error.
restart it.
Whoop, the
Basically.
files are gone. Yeah.
I think that's what she's hoping for.
Maybe there's some other dirt Gant has on Lana.
Or that.
I hope not. I hope
I seriously
it's-
hope not, because otherwise we need to get into that again.
Yeah. How many years exactly?
Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years.
Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases.
She must have been good coming from the same school as Mia. Because clearly, the reason why somebody is good at their job is because they went to a specific school. I don't like that line of thinking, by the way.
Well, it's kind of like, oh, if you graduated from Harvard.
You can still be a douchebag and an idiot. I'm just saying.
I mean, yeah, but you come from a league school, you graduated from it, so that has to mean something.
Fair, yeah, that's the idea there, yeah. The preconception, I think, is the word I was grasping for.
Damon Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. I
There's
do
no
like
truth.
the transitions they sometimes have between the lines and then going back into
Yeah.
where they were going.
But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail.
You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. Next time...
But she just didn't, she didn't even try to refute that. She just went, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because it's not allowed in court. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And fabricated the evidence.
She's admitting to everything except the murder. Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana.
So... Okay, I honestly thought that she was, one, worried about Emma finding out that seemingly she ended the life of Neil Marshall, but also the legal repercussions of that. And now she just flat out confirmed, yeah, I don't care about legal ramifications.
I think she's trying to stay clear of that to not involve Kent in the story.
Okay, yeah, true. For a moment I thought she was actually telling the whole truth and not just some part of it to... Yeah, no. True.
I think like it makes sense to try to leave him out of this.
Yeah, okay.
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago!
You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
Ooh, good question. Because if she didn't do it, she will probably say something that couldn't have happened.
Oh, fair. It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
What? But Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Oh, she's trying to mess us up here. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life.
It was I.
Okay, so now she's also trying to dispute that.
Yeah.
Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change the statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was laying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So, when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes.
That's a new line, no? You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the body?
But why? Why would you do that?
Plus something the judge said, but was auto-scrolling?
Oh, for a second I thought you were gonna blame me like I was already with my hands up, because that was not me.
This wasn't Tifa. I did not hear her press the button.
You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
What happens to people with bad heads on good shoulders? My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask her for the sake of the others.
Oh, look at this! We're asking 2 why questions.
Oh my god, it's finally happening.
Why did you plant the knife?
Rejoice, everybody. We're asking for motivation.
And why did you move the body? I'm gonna guess this is a thing like in the previous cases where we just need to go through it twice. So let's just start with the knife.
Potentially. Let's start at the top. But why did you do that?
Come now, Mr. Wright. Even you should be able to figure it out.
Even us, huh?
Very well, let's add this to the witness's testimony. The reason Miss Sky fabricated the knife.
I knew the tip of the weapon found buried in his body would be all the proof we needed. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. Oh, this is... Okay, let's go one back. This is where we pressed for... I want that second line.
You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the body.
See? And then you moved the body!
Auto-scrolling. Give me that second line. There.
When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gan's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple.
Let's have a witness explain this in more detail. The reason the sky moved the body.
Okay. 2 new things.
The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. Oh, there we go again. Okay.
Okay, go 1 more back.
No, 2 more.
That's what I meant. This is the new one. The first new one we got.
Oh, like that. Oh, this is not the new one. My bad.
Wait, only the one after this changes. Oh my god, so we have to go through this again.
I thought it was 2 new lines. Okay, never mind.
No, the one that gets filled in there changes depending on what you ask here.
Yeah, I thought both of them got put in, but apparently not. Okay, then let's press now.
I mean, timeline-wise it makes sense. You cannot have 2 questions at the same time.
I suppose.
According to your testimony, Prosecutor Marshall's broken knife was the murder weapon, right?
Yes, and leaving it at that might point the blame away from Dark. So that felt like a tongue twister for some reason. I felt that the most effective way to get him convicted would be by having the tip of his knife found inside the victim's body.
It's okay, Tifa. It's a fictional death.
So you buried it inside the victim's stab wound?
Yes, because I hated Dark for what he did. Okay, now we go back. Was it this one?
1 more.
This one?
Okay, now we ask about why moving the body, and then we skip the entire part again, and then we ask on we press on the new information.
Okay. Once more. And now we press here.
Poor person having to like keep a protocol for this conversation.
Didn't I already write this down? Wait, again?
You know what spin-off game they should have made?
What?
Phoenix Wright. Where a person looking oddly familiar and similar to Phoenix Wright, this guy, is actually the protocol person in Japanophonian court, and it's a learn how to type fast video game.
Oh, a bit like that zombie shooter game that we played with typing.
Typing of the Dead.
Typing of the Dead, which is brilliant, by the way.
Yes, everybody should play that.
That would also be kind of interesting. Like, you keep hearing conversations and you need to type along as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And like write down the entire thing.
Pretty much. Pieces of a jar, you mean...
I also want to add, that is a skill that is really handy, because sometimes at work I'm stuck writing the protocol for certain meetings, and it's so annoying. And then especially if you didn't like forget something and they keep talking, and then while you're trying to think of how to write down that one thing they said, they're already further ahead. Like, writing down a protocol while people are talking is a really handy skill to have. I'm telling you.
That sounds like a skill issue to me.
Yeah.
Why don't you just tell them, okay, to recap this for the protocol, such and such.
But that's not really how those meetings work.
But the protocol is an official part of it.
No, it's unofficial for our part of the team.
That sounds weird. Pieces of a jar, you mean...
Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. Who uses the word expedient?
People who talk as stiff as Lana does.
Like, why? Could have gone easier, more convenient, expedient.
Well...
So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you looked at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. I'm sorry if that's your favorite word, by the way.
To all the expedient fans, we're sorry.
Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was laying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle.
If I have a question for you, why do you reject the script as it was written?
What?
Because you keep saying it was laying there.
That's what she said.
No, it's lying there.
Oh. Lying.
I know, I always confuse the two as well, but here you have a textbook example where the game tells you which one is the correct one to use. It's like farther and further. I always mix those up as well.
Well, it's working, isn't it?
I see.
Potato.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's the matter, Emma?
Apparently, the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction here somewhere.
Okay, so the contradiction is at the jar. Also, do we now need to contradict both things? The jar and the body?
Objection!
The jar is not hideous or wretched.
Yes.
It is beautiful and one of a kind, and I hated that little mini game kind of bullshittery where we had to angle it just right. That was the worst part of this entire episode.
Yeah, where it had to be like pixel perfect, basically.
Yeah.
I dislike the jar. I think everyone hates the jar.
The jar is an asshole, and I don't care who hears that.
After we're done with convicting Gant, that jar joins him on the chair.
Ah, you got past that part. Yes. With help of screenshots and
even then, it still took us
people
like 20
telling
minutes.
us, don't use the mouse, use the buttons. It has to be exactly at angles, and if you press the wrong button, you will never get it. It took us 20 minutes, I think.
Something like that.
It was horrible.
It was absolutely horrible.
If I was still coming up, thank God we're done with that.
We're way past that, fortunately. It took so long. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone.
Okay, press on that, but we know we need to contradict the thing before that.
Didn't we already press everything?
No, not the last part.
Okay.
So, you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer?
How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Red? Emma didn't do it. Period.
Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence?
Oh, and now they actually confirm again that there is a death sentence behind this crime.
Question, how do we know what the punishment with a verdict is gonna be already? Are we the judge? Or is there only one possible outcome?
I think there's only one possible outcome. So far, from what's been hinted at, all the murderers have gotten the death penalty.
So, me playing the game, I'm responsible for the death of 4 people already.
No, they're responsible for that themselves.
I'm responsible for finding them to be found guilty and sentenced to death. True, we only pointed out what they did. We didn't commit any crimes. Oof.
She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister is lying!
Is it unpardonable or unpardonable?
Unpardonable.
Potato.
It is not what did you even say?
Unpawnable. What? Nothing is unpawnable, Tifa. I've been to the internet. I've seen things. Nothing is unpawnable.
No, what did you even say?
Unpardonable.
Unpardonable, like no one says that. It is not that.
If you want to be pardoned for something that has already happened in the past, are you asking not for pardon, but for pardon? Sorry. Jack is still guilty of being the 5th murderer of Bruce Goodman. No! I will never be able to live with that. To be honest, aren't we all the murderer of Bruce Goodman? Who here can say that they haven't murdered a Bruce Goodman at some point?
I think we all have Bruce's blood on our hands.
Yeah.
But you the most.
Wait. If you I didn't. Yes, you did.
I'm
were here.
I'm quite sure you do too.
You being here makes you an accessory, therefore you are just as guilty. Not me, that's for sure. I have a question.
Objection?
I have a question for you, Tifa,
What?
and all of you. Would you, am I right in thinking that if you are the person who killed Bruce Goodman, you might not just have his blood on your hands, but you also bruised your hands?
That was too far-fetched. No.
I like you have to prove it.
I have
welcome
it.
to the trial of Honest Psycho for the murder of Bruce Goodman.
I have my information from a good man that you done it.
Yeah, and actually, you have to prove it. This is a Japanifornian court. We don't need to do anything. Anyway, it looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done it alone.
I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. He's lying. He can't. He's dead.
Does this mean we now have to go through the other option?
No. We have to go to the second to last one and contradict it.
Yeah, because now they were talking about the jar bit because we did the jar bit last.
Yeah, but when we talked about the knife, that didn't happen. So I'm pretty sure it's...
Because we didn't press on the last line there, I think.
I've killed Bruce Goodman, I can confirm I do not have bruised hands. Okay.
But you didn't say this at court, so it's not
But didn't
presentable evidence.
Wait, objection, mommy. Didn't you just earlier, it's actually still on screen, say you didn't for sure kill Bruce Goodman? I see it.
Okay.
Something with a jaw. I don't understand what the game is trying to make us do. I don't get it at all.
Same.
She said something about the timeline not making sense. But
No, we said something about the jar.
the vase she said was broken. Yeah, when she got there. But that's the truth.
I mean, it was
It shattered
broken.
when Neil Marshall got killed. But Neil still painted Emma on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's-
how could he have painted the name on it if it had shattered?
We had a whole argument about that it was still
Yeah.
completed and then he wrote Emma on it and only after did it shatter.
Thank you. I completely forgot that on Friday. I got very angry about that.
Good point.
Yeah. Hello, you might finally get to the end today. Good luck with Groundhog right now,
Yes.
so I'm not watching, but I hope you enjoy the end of the case.
Say hi
More
to
than that,
Groundhog.
Thank you.
How you
Happy
doing?
Sunday to you and Groundhog. Hello to everybody. Please have fun and a great start into the coming week.
Everything he said, have fun.
Yes, please. Oh no, that was an answer to who can't say they killed Bruceman. As in, I can say that. Okay, fair enough.
Objection.
Objection, you can't put yourself on the stand like this and make yourself look guilty and whatnot. You need to argue with no, it's perfectly fine.
If you were saying this in this game, I see the moment where the character like starts sweating and goes like, "Arr, arr."
No, I did kill Bruce Goodman.
And then the judge and Phoenix and Miles collectively decide, no, you didn't. And we just ignore everything you said. Like with Lana. Phoenix, I fired you. You're not my lawyer anymore. Anyway, I'm busy being your lawyer. Lana said she was
Thanks, Lana.
guilty.
We don't care.
She's guilty of trying way too hard to let us help her get out of a blackmail.
Guilty of being really shitty right now.
But I understand it. I mean,
Speak, woman.
but I get it. Like,
I don't at this point. Speak.
for the last 5 years, her entire existence and that of her sister hinged on Gant not going, you know what, I'm getting tired of your bullshit. If at any point he had wanted to hurt them, he could have done so. So like for the last 5 years, she's like,
But
I wanted
this
to
is
say
her
addicted
moment.
to like living in this blackmail scenario, but addiction is the wrong word. She's she's like an indentured servant at this point. She's acting like a slave.
This is her moment.
She can't do anything
Put him
else.
in the chair and end it all.
Yeah, but what if we don't make that?
Yeah, that's what she's going on. Anyway,
Like,
continue. I want this over with.
Like if we leave any room for Gan to wriggle out of this, then her life becomes even more of a hell. Because for a moment she gets the hope that we can get her out of it, and then suddenly Gant is back with a vengeance and takes it all out on her and Emma. I get that.
You're giving Lana more time to think about what lies she can...
Directly into a chair. No jail, just the electric chair.
Exactly. Hey, in a world where a trial has to happen the same day or the next day at the latest, and it needs to be closed within 3 days, there is no way there will be like 10 years of jail time and then the chair. I have a feeling in Japanifornia you get the chair at the latest by the next day.
Japanifornia
moves fast.
is so disgustingly streamlined with all of this. Like, they only have one jail, like one correctional facility for the death row inmates, and it's just like this building with like 5 bunk beds. Because it's just like a revolving door of people just getting... Miss Sky, yes. I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister.
You mean before you at the scene when Neil Marshall was murdered?
If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony.
A contradiction in my testimony?
Japanese efficiency. Japanifornian efficiency. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of a jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan."
That's right.
You have a problem with that?
It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood.
Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments.
Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Wait everybody. Ranger wants this to be a crossover with Danganronpa, wanting Genocide Jill to show up. I'm saying Danganronpa and this actually play in the same universe. Neil Marshall was a ultimate writing in blood. I can't think of a better title.
Ultimate writing in blood on broken pieces.
Exactly. In his spare time, as a hobby, Neil Marshall put together puzzles, like these 3D ones, and he trained all his life writing messages. He just glanced for a second at the 3D puzzle pieces, then wrote the message in bits on the individual pieces, placed it together, boom, whole message. It didn't matter whether the jar was broken.
Dum, dum, dum.
Fair enough, in Ace Attorney 6 there's another place with an even worse legal system in Japanifornia. That is hard to believe that exists.
Actually, yes, because obviously Japanifornia is one of the best systems. So I can imagine other places are worse.
No.
Like it only makes sense. Like if you're the best, there could only be.
I'm with Honest Psycho when I read the following statement. Oh God, please no. Yeah, what you said. No. Okay. Can you... Tifa, you've just been contradicted. You are Lana Sky.
I already said my though. I just said it again to get back into it.
You've just been contradicted in court. And you sounded like you were not necessarily unhappy about that.
Yes, because deep down, I want to be caught. I want my contradictions to be found out. I want to tell you the truth.
Did Tifa just say, Yeah, not the first time actually. But they all happened during Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, actually, I think.
That is true. The lunch lady also said the...
Yeah.
before.
Oh no, anyway. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Mommy, did you know that when you spell Ara Ara backwards, it's Ara Ara? And did you know that when you spell Lana backwards?
Order! Order!
Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. Wow, no cursing in court, Edgeworth.
Edgeworth is British.
We may be missing something critical here.
I think you mean, we may be missing something critical here. I can't do a British accent, I'm sorry. Something critical.
Chief Prosecutor!
Please don't. Please don't. No. Control Z. Undo, please. No.
I'm trying to speak normally here. Before
you're not.
Before I give him an Australian accent again.
Same, I'm way better at a Scottish accent than an English accent.
I suck at both.
I'm better at Scottish accents, but I'm also really bad at that. It's like on a scale from 0 to 10, my English accent is like a 0.1, my Scottish is a 0.2. It's like, it's better, but it's far from good.
It seems you're as dark in... Oh, it seems you're as in the dark as we are.
It seems you're as dark as we are.
About the truth towards which we're headed.
Crawling in my skin.
What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth.
Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony.
What? Jar and message in blood.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. But it was dark in the room, and I couldn't have time to check it out.
You couldn't have what?
It was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out.
You said couldn't.
In the previous line!
On this screen, you read, but it was dark in the room and I couldn't have time to check it out.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Shame. Shame.
To be safe, I wiped away the blood.
It's dark in the room. Tifa couldn't read the text. Tifa didn't read the text.
You know, this problem would have been solved if she just dragged the dark out of the room first.
I'm pointing out to you that we're all seeing you, Tifa.
You didn't even get my joke.
I wanted to go for the it was dark in the room. Haha, get it? Dark. But then I had to give you like voicing directions. Please. Tifa, please read the text as it's written. This is not the time to ad-lib. Thank you.
The fragments.
Do it properly.
The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered.
Fragment sounds incredibly Dutch.
Working at the Spit Watch. Those were kids playing outside.
I guess there's a kid playing outside because it sounded kind of like Tarzan swinging on a vine.
Oh!
Kind of, yeah.
George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
We need to watch that movie again.
Whoa! Watch out for that tree.
Ah, no, I did it too early.
Nigga, watch out for that
tree.
This was your moment. Oh.
I need to watch it again, I'm sorry. I ruined the joke. I saw that movie too as a kid.
Ew,
Brendan Fraser, topless with all of his pecs and everything. Yeah, I want to watch that movie again.
That was a really good movie. Who? Brendan Fraser?
I don't think usually the first and the second mix, as in the RRR and the OO, I also don't like how smoothly you transition from one into the other. That I think we found your unnecessary talent. Jack, another secret exposed. I love Brendan Fraser. It's not a secret. If it ever was a secret, I'm sorry I didn't say it more often.
You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood?
I wasn't chief prosecutor at that time.
So that means you can wipe away blood?
She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
My face is itchy. Got a hair somewhere.
All of a sudden there's one spot on my head is itchy, where you did
Scraping earlier?
Yes.
Wait, I'll help you. Aww. There needs to be a Give Tifa Squitches redeem.
Yeah.
Behind the ear! Behind the ear!
There should.
You can't see it, but she's doing the thing with her leg. So, the jar was already broken.
You know, I do it with this hand, that's why I mash the buttons. Or that's why I skip all the text.
Uh-huh.
It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. I mean, that is true.
What?
Have you seen how that thing stands?
So?
How does that thing not fall over all the time?
It's one of those like engineered things that have a very specific like center of gravity. Like once you found it, it's like hard to tip over, but when you place it, it's really hard to find that spot. That doesn't make sense.
It's useless. Like you can't even put flowers or anything in it either.
I don't think it's meant for that. I believe this jar is one of those things that rich people buy because they have too much money.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, like you're looking
at fancy decoration.
You're looking at your like income and everything, and then you go, I don't want to pay this many taxes, so I need something that I can deduct. I'm just gonna buy something.
I'm gonna buy this $60,000 vase.
I don't know enough about taxes whether this works like that, so please correct me if I'm wrong.
It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case.
But not as feeble as the judge's judgment.
You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have.
This looks like some abstract art vase from this millennium. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like it.
I agree, and I'm not a fan. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar?
No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust.
Good point, actually. Well, that helps my case.
Lana, you do that for me?
It seems you two might make up yet.
Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came.
Wait, if it was dark in the room, how could she see that the vase was broken in the first place?
Well, with a little bit of light and the lightning that was flashing, she could have seen the pieces.
It's like one of those horror games, kind of, where if you move when there's light in the room, the big bad monster finds you. Except slightly different, because like she was only moving during the lightning. Because only then could she see what was happening in the bed. I agree with you.
This is rather shocking.
Yeah, shockingly dumb. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened.
What do you mean?
If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood.
Yeah, it's basically getting rid of evidence.
So you were covering for Dark to then make up fabricated evidence to get Dark prosecuted.
What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces.
How are we not talking about the fact that Phoenix just cracked the case? Why would you wipe away the name if you didn't know it was bad?
Oh, we're getting to the how could you see?
But how could you see with a power out? It should have been pitch black in that office.
A detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece.
So, wait. No. We're going in a freaking circle. It was dark. I couldn't see. I had a light and a camera. You cannot have both.
You can have both a light and a camera.
She first said that she couldn't see because it was dark, and now she went like, oh, I could see everything because of a flashlight.
She didn't say you could see everything, she said she could see a bit because of the flashlight.
So you illegally rearranged the crime scene?
Yes, I don't have any excuse for my actions. Every piece, well, she obviously missed one.
Apparently.
I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time.
It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident.
No doubt this day will leave a permanent stain on the history of a prosecutor's office.
More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony.
Your sister's really putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. I think I finally figured out the contradictions in her testimony. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. I hope it's the blue badger because I'm not seeing it.
I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. Well, that's technically already a contradiction because she said she used the light. I think here.
There. And I guess the evidence is the jar again.
Just in case. It seems weird to come with the jar again.
Because the single piece of jar that we found in the safe is not there anymore. Wait, we can check something.
I don't think...
We can't turn this thing around.
The evidence list now is only about the drawings. What about the locker? What does that say?
It's the evidence locker. That's not...
Okay.
It has to be the jar. Yep. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of.
What?
We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe.
In the chief's safe? But how?
I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it.
But the witness just testified. But she gave it every last piece and wiped the blood off of them.
Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you.
But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece?
Good question, though.
I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective.
That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Ha! Can you believe that?
I think we've all had a day like that.
I forget my teeth occasionally.
Sometimes I lost my glasses. And then they're like on my head.
Yeah, I do that all the time with sunglasses actually.
Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken.
No, that.
There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness.
I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Doc downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar?
Stop defending him.
The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer us that?
I like how it's suddenly judge against.
No!
You know who is really to blame for this?
Bunnies! Wait! I'm not the one on trial here!
Damon Gant arrived at the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hit one of the broken pieces. I said it right. Question: what is this action called?
Purposefully?
Purposefully.
Tifa.
Purposefully.
Tifa, the pose in purpose is nothing like posing.
I said it anyway. Come here.
Like it's not
Fabrication of evidence.
Tifa, it's not purpose, as in I went to a photo shooting and got
Stop
paid
your complaining.
purpose.
Stop your complaining.
Welcome to English with Tifa. Fabrication of evidence.
But why would Chief Gant do that?
In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear?
What happened afterwards?
Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the chief's puppet.
You mean puppet?
Don't make me puppet you. No, I did it on my own.
Did you, by the way, see that she bit her thumb so hard blood splattered out? Yeah.
Please, sis, stop trying to protect the chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients.
Who is she trying to protect at this point?
Well, I think at some point you're also so far in, you don't...
I guess this really goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like she is so mind broken to be in this situation where she's acting like Gant's puppet that she can't fathom another way of like not doing that. Lana's a titan, basically. Like she is one of those people that has like a lot of like veins in her thumb, because like if I bite my thumb, even if I were to bite it so that there's blood kind, I don't think it would just splatter like this.
Some people have an easy time doing that. Like, I don't know even what it was. There's this one... oh yeah. Like in Titans, and there's also another thing where they just have to spill some blood for something and they just go like... and it's like, oh, blood. And I'm like, how do you even bite yourself hard enough for that? To rip part
Wasn't that some vampire show you watched?
That could be...
Tifa, everybody. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client.
I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth.
Excuse me?
Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap?
Is something wrong, Mr. Wright?
Lana may be right after all.
What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright?
All the time. Miss Skye, please testify once more.
But...
if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie.
But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall.
Miss Skye, if you will.
I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. And once again, please.
Alright, the witness may...
I can't. Oh my lord.
Alright, the witness may testify once more, for the final time.
It basically means nothing when someone tries to testify. Because you already know, okay, the first time they're lying, the second time they're telling more of the truth, but they're leaving parts out, and only at the third time Can we finally start this shit?
84 years into episode 5, and we finally get to discuss the actual crime scene. But I need a break first.
Right after these messages.
BRB.
We're back.
We are.
With the actual crime scene. Alright, you ready for this?
No, but carry on.
When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor sword. Of that suit of armor sword. Actually, I said that, never mind.
Yes, Tifa, it's okay. Sometimes you do read the line as it is written. Thank you for that, by the way.
Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent.
Is this about that book we got during the previous recess?
We're still gonna use it at some point. I'm not sure how or why.
The one that said all evidence has to be given to the police and otherwise it has to be critical or something like that? Which was super weird because why then have the first rule anyway?
Unbelievable! The body was impaled on the armor's sword!
You were the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. She has a camera with her. Why would she mention a camera if she didn't take pictures of things?
Oh god, yeah.
Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning.
What? To me?
It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. It's in the book.
But I don't remember receiving a picture like that.
Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture.
I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana.
Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right?
I seem to remember getting something from her then.
Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. Why do you steal?
Check. That looks so cute. Look at it.
Look, there's a picture sticking out of the book.
This is not as important as. Look at it. It's a
really
peel.
Cute. It is cute.
This is the cutest thing ever. But I believe we're talking. How are you supposed to get that out of her?
Go to the back. Oh, yeah, no, there. How do I even check that?
The controls of the screen are super weird on PC. Hey, there's a picture here. Oof.
Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything.
Lana's picture, crime scene photo from the case 2 years ago taken. That's a weird sentence.
Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest, could that be?
The cloth we found inside Chief Gant's safe.
I didn't even see that was missing.
Gant killed Marshall.
But it has Emma's handprint on it.
What? Wasn't it Gant's?
No, I'm quite sure it said Emma. That means he
Wasn't
cut
it
it
Gant's?
off, printed Emma, she was unconscious at that point, put her hand on that to get a clear print, and then...
Wasn't it Gant's?
I'm quite sure it's Emma.
Oh, I wanted it to be Gant's, right? I remember that. What's this?
This is a handprint, isn't it? Because we even checked it and we're like, oh, don't tell Emma, it's hers.
Oh, true.
That cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer.
What? But those fingerprints... They're yours, Emma.
Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Red?
Oh, I'm sure Tifa's on point, yeah. The question is, did Gant... I mean, he's a really built, ripped guy, I think. Like he's like very muscular, I believe.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the suit is cut to make him look muscular. I think he's actually muscular under this. So he could have just taken her and like, you know, like grab her, drag her over and go like, and do this. Because he could also, like if you point this out to him, he could just argue, well, when she threw the jar at them to break them up, she like stumbled forward, and it's not just that the jar shattered when she threw it at Neil, she also like fell forward and touched him on the chest.
That could be, but it's kind of like the perfect handprint.
Yeah. And we have to prove that it was Gant that cut out the piece. Yep.
And that too. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flesh out the real murderer.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Again.
Well, we're one step further.
And then the reason why it can only have been Gant is because...
Nope. He came back. No.
Forget what I wanted to say. It doesn't matter.
Why did he return?
Nothing I can come up with is as dumb as this guy. Come now, RG. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen.
Chief Gant!
What now you want me to make it? What now you want me to make?
You okay there? I know out is a really hard word. It's like oot. Wow. Oh, oot. But it's
Tifa,
out.
if it wasn't for the fact that we have microphones clipped to our chests, I would have spit my tea at you.
Gant, my beloved!
What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like you.
two.
Blah, la, 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 la.
Oh, but when I do it, huh?
I am
I do it at the hard
so
words
pissed
at least.
about this guy just doing this and the judge having his back the entire fucking time. I can't even read my lines.
Well, you don't want to believe that someone that high in power does crap like this.
Yeah. Like that, at least. That somebody is manipulating everybody else around them. Okay,
And
that I
that
can
doesn't
buy.
happen.
But that he's so, I don't know, self-centered, which makes sense. He said that.
No one high in rank would abuse their power, ever.
He said he makes use of his right to not say anything anymore.
That
the
might
moment
still come.
he shut up again, the judge should go, shut the fuck up, bitch. Bailiff, please, bitch slap this motherfucker. Go there and backhand him across the face. And if he says anything about that, contempt of court.
They're not gonna point out the bullshit anymore. It's like a full-time job at this point.
It's like the entire frame is bullshit at this. If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense.
I'm afraid it's too late for that. Thank you, Edgeworth.
What?
GYG is on the right track. You already declined to testify. That means you've forfeited your right to make statements of any sort.
Tifa, it's forfeit, not forfeit.
Anyway.
It's not like yogurt and milk.
Do you still have a right to complain to me? You can't even get you and out.
I'm trying to give you constructive criticism here.
Yeah, I'm not listening.
The forfeit, the fat in there is no fat in forfeit. It's like skimmed milk.
Just move on. I have a foreigner right to mispronounce words, and I'm using it, Your Honor.
Beautiful. English second language, people. There, I read my line. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier.
Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck.
That's a really dark line, actually. So what, you think I'm worried?
Thank you, Edgeworth. Also, the judge should say this.
GGG, CC, K, CK, CC, KK, KK. My favorite Gant line. That's the Dutch version. Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements.
What do you mean?
The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence.
Yes, that is true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence?
No, I don't, but someone does.
Someone?
So, what's your excuse, Writer? Why have you been keeping quiet about it?
It's the blue badger.
You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death.
And now he wants us to bring out the cloth with Emma's fingerprints on it.
She said the blue badger as a joke, but 100%, the last thing I believe we will have to point out in this entire episode is us in court taking the fingerprints on the smear on the face of a blue badger and pointing out that it's Gant. And that's gonna tie him into this somehow. The blue badger has these two smears on its face, and it has to be Gant. Yes, the badger had a handprint on too, and we never checked that. That has to be
We never gotten into that.
the thing.
It's going to come back at some point.
Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt.
Is this true, Mr. Wright?
No. If I show that piece of evidence now,
Why don't we just lie and say we don't have it? What are they gonna do? Make us bend forward and cuff?
turn your head and cuff. 1 second.
Turn your head.
Yeah, turn your head and cuff.
What? It's bending.
I guess we're checking for two different things. Rules for submitting evidence. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of a police department.
Technically, we just got the approval of the police department.
Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant. Whatever.
This doesn't work. Both things apply.
I don't care anymore.
Do I need to check it again?
No, you need to continue the text.
Oh, you're the one that pressed this. I thought this thing popped up.
If I show that piece of evidence now, Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer.
Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. And if you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries.
What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. This sounds like a beautiful moment to save and load if necessary. Should I present that piece of evidence? One that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Show it. Yes, Your Honor. I do have further evidence.
Alright, the time's finally come to show it to them. Those prints have got to be the chief's.
Yeah, about that.
Now then, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall. It's a piece of leather cloth.
Yes, it most likely was cut from the victim's vest near his chest.
You know what bothers me the most? This piece of cloth is square.
Yeah.
The piece cut out of his vest is not square.
Yes, it is.
Like it doesn't fit.
Yes, it's a really ugly leather vest.
Where is the square? Here, you can see the cut.
You can only see one of the corners.
It's a square. It's not rounded.
It was
at the...
a really ugly vest. Just accept it. It's turned 45 degrees, exactly.
I object.
Are you objecting fashion?
I object. This does not fit. What's this? There's a big handprint on it.
You said that with absolutely no conviction. There's a big handprint on it. Surely it must have been left on the cloth by whoever shoved the victim into the sword.
What? Whose fingerprints are on this?
I'm sure Writer has checked, haven't you?
Well, whose are they?
They are Miss Skies. Miss Emma Skies.
What? They're mine? So I really did do it.
See? I told you it was conclusive.
Also, you can't speak. Get out. Go away.
But this was found in your safe. That means it's possible you forged it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember any cloth in my safe. Do you really expect me to believe that? But...
Give it up, Mr. Wright. It's over. So we were supposed to hide it, or not? You shouldn't have presented that. By presenting that evidence, you tied Emma Skye to Neil Marshall's death.
No.
It appears we have our killer.
No. No!
Ah, sure we should have.
Everything hinged on that point. In the end, Lana alone was found guilty. On all counts.
Guilty! It's a game over! We got a game over.
Wow! It just drops you straight to the title screen.
It's like, well, fuck that.
It's like, you fucked up. Bad player. What happened to us pursuing the truth? How is Lana found guilty?
So, post-stream, she dead.
And this is
Sky
how
is
Phoenix
blue.
Wright went from ace attorney to unemployed attorney.
Sky is blue. And so am I. Lana dead, you.
One sky... The sky is blue and so am I. One sky is blue and the other die.
Well, back in we go, I guess.
Never happened, reloading. I can't show evidence, sorry sir.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. One sec. This is making me sneeze. I'm allergic to bullshit suddenly.
Then how come it only went off now?
It reached critical mass.
Oh. Just kept building up and building and building.
Until it was just too much. Also, did you notice how Phoenix wasn't fully lying? He said he cannot present it at this time.
Very true.
It sounds like an answer to the question, but really it isn't. What? You lie.
Chief Gant!
You opened my safe. I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence.
Oh? So you do know what was in that safe?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together.
Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it.
What are you talking about, Chief Gant?
Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture.
So how does he all know this? If he doesn't know...
See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area?
Using my own spells against me, Potter.
Yes, very much so.
You activated my trap card. It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason.
You mean you had this in your safe?
What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of a police department.
For this week. And then something else happens that just blows it out of proportion. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, writer. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as a murderer. I'll tell you what really happened.
No, you're not going to tell us.
You don't get to talk anymore. What happened to the
Bye,
rules?
we'll figure this out without you.
What? You mean you admit to it?
Please, we're gonna let him talk. We're letting him talk.
I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. Then it occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana.
So you really were manipulating her?
I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene she would ask me for my aid.
So you assisted Miss Sky?
I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plan the knife tip in the victim's body and move her body across the room.
And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted.
When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe?
But why?
For insurance, of course. Insurance?
Also, this is suspicious. Where's he going with this testimony?
I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for murder that girl committed.
You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence?
What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jaw fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces.
But if you fabricated all the evidence, it means Lale was behind it. How you doing? Happy
Hello,
Sunday.
Lale. Happy Sunday. Why did you kill Neil Marshall? How are you doing?
Another person's whose blood we have on our hands. What's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too?
Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept 1 more item for insurance.
You mean that piece of cloth?
Come on, Ryder. Cough it up already. I know you have it.
What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright?
So you admit to it then, Chief Gant. But you were hiding the cloth you cut off a victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it is a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Not being a murderer, being portrayed as a murderer.
I don't think he gives a fuck about any bodies left or right he leaves behind.
Yeah. Me! Always returns to the scene of a crime, and I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those pesky streamers. I want to drink to that.
You and your meddling, Jack.
I'm pretty good at this. I'm very good at meddling. To be fair, we just got a game over before you arrived because we chose the wrong option. So.
Well, Mr. Wright!
The game was very easy. It's like, oh, you picked wrong. Well,
you done goofed. Goodbye.
Guilty. Lana's dead
Title
now.
screen.
Bye.
Yeah.
Title screen.
Do it again. Hope you're saved, fools. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago you said you didn't have any evidence you could present.
Foolish move, Ryder. You should have shown it then before it was too late.
We did. Yeah.
Yeah, we did, and then it was too early. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine.
Oh, we can still save.
This
I was
is
like,
a moment
fuck.
to save.
It's too late to save, but it's not.
Wrong, because I hadn't returned, so you didn't know it was me, of course. I see you trying to bamboozle me, and it is working.
Objection!
Cannot show evidence.
I think we're gonna stick to this road.
We're lying, and we stick to the truth. No, it's too late to show the evidence now. Besides, even if I did, it'd just expose that poor girl's fingerprints.
Right. Think hard over the circumstances.
The circumstances?
I'm talking about then and now. There's one major difference between the two. Weren't you waiting for that difference?
Now he admitted that it wasn't his safe. Now we can point him, or we can pin him down on the he forged it. Because he had the thing the entire time.
Oh.
So, I should have figured out my plan.
Mr. Wright, this is your only chance.
Your
we
Honor,
just leave it?
I do have evidence to present now.
It's only wanting you.
Yeah.
Alright, man, let's see this conclusive evidence. The evidence that shows who actually murdered Prosecutor Marshall.
Do it, Tifa. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of a victim's vest. Oh yes, at last you finally brought it out into the open.
There's a handprint on this piece of cloth.
Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for an analysis. This handprint on the letter, there must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly.
Analysis?
I said it right first, and then I said
analysis?
I said it right first.
Analysis?
It's not as bad as you not being able to pronounce you and out.
Analysis?
Besides, I said it right immediately.
It's almost like I'm being anal about the pronunciation of analysis.
You mean?
Well, you kind of are an anal hole.
What?
It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence.
That's the opposite of what I want to argue, Miles. Thank you.
You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy.
What?
Think about it. Writer had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be?
You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know?
Whoever the fingerprints are must be... Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer.
Me. I am the fingerprint. It's me.
You couldn't. Or you didn't.
It is me.
I'm getting hiccups now from all my mispronunciations.
Whose fingerprints are they?
I doubt it.
You don't want to ask who they are?
What? Just for this. 1, 2,
You're gonna pick those up.
3,
No,
4,
say your line.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I stock up on these little hairbands just for this? Yes. Very well, I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Meekins.
It's always Meekins.
Emma! Emma Sky!
What? They're mine?
I'm sorry, Emma.
But why? Why didn't you tell me?
Because you would look at me all shocked in court. You're really something, Writer. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me.
So it's true! Tragic, but true! This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death!
No need to rub salt in the wound. How could you? You monster!
How did Lana just take the stand when Gant is standing there? Did she
Didn't we
tackle
talk
him to the
about
side?
this the other day? That they are on two sides?
Oh.
Facing each other?
Or they just put several there so that we can have like a whole panel debate kind of thing.
Miss Sky!
You knew whose fingerprints those were all along! You acted like she really didn't!
Miss Sky, it's not over yet.
What?
I said this trial isn't over yet. But I'm afraid it's over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense.
Says the one who hid that evidence in
For
the
2
first place.
years. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter, cat? Got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer. Phoenix fell asleep. Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Why are you such a pompous asshole, Gant? Gant, please! Yeah. Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall?
What?
Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask?
It was Emma Sky, wasn't it?
I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. What is he talking about?
I have no clue.
Mr. Wright! This piece of cloth! What could it possibly contradict?
Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. I got it.
What is it?
Emma never touched Neil Marshall. She threw the jar.
Yeah, but we can't really prove that. How can we prove that that piece of cloth is a contradiction?
Oh wait, no, she didn't. No, wait, I keep getting this wrong. She didn't. She never threw the jar. It tipped over when he got backwards onto the knife. Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth.
Contradicts the cloth. Let's go! Just another killer. It's filled with this.
I have no idea what we're supposed to present.
That contradicts the cloth.
I don't know where we're going with this. I would love it if Phoenix had some more like inner monologue to tell us.
We haven't used the rubber glove yet. But that's not really...
Yeah, what's with a rubber glove? When did that ever become a thing?
I'm guessing he's the one that was wearing gloves, but... What do we have that contradicts...
I want to say it's the Blue Badger, but...
The piece of evidence that contradicts the cloth. Besides the
Could be
fact that
this.
it doesn't fit.
No. It can't be this, right?
No, I doubt that.
Oh! Psycho figured it out? I know! What do you know?
What do you think the evidence item is? Piece of evidence.
Is it a hint here? There's no blood on the cloth.
But then what is the evidence we show?
Okay.
The cloth itself? The picture?
But
You have a good point.
it was cut out before he stumbled backwards.
But how would that have happened? That means he had
But
a tumble with Gant and Dark?
I get what you're saying, but... Wait. Does it say it's a bloody handprint on the cloth? See, I was thinking this is just a normal handprint, like if I do this. Like, that doesn't need to be blood. Well, there should be blood on it. Should there though? Wait!
Oh, you have a point, because the blood
Yes.
is on his white shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, you're correct.
It should at least be
Yes.
on the inside. And what exactly is this supposed to be?
The way that blood fell on there could only have happened if that piece was already missing.
Yes! This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. True, there's blood all over it, and it would be weird if
Yeah.
there was... Smart. I wasn't
Good
even
thinking.
thinking about blood.
Same.
See where the piece of his vest was cut out?
Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though.
Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs, no doubt, were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth.
No, but that piece of cloth.
Yes. But that makes it... I love being right. But that makes it even weirder, because then he must, like you said, he must have cut it out beforehand, which means Gant was already there before he was dead.
But don't you mean you love being right? Did we make you into a Phoenix Wright fan? No, it's forged evidence. That's all.
Yeah.
This is all that this means. He probably, after all of this happened, went, got one of Emma's fingerprints from something. You know, you can just dust them and then copy them. Then he bought another one of those vests had that like stamped on there, cut it out and threw it into his
That could also be...
thingy, into his safe for a while.
Well, go for it.
Wait! There's no blood on it!
I want to say, in that sound I just made, I rolled my R, and that's the second time in my life I managed, and I cannot do it on command. This case is, well, it's gotta start somewhere. Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time.
No, this is nonsense.
Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside.
He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out.
If so, then tell me, who could it have been?
I can just sort of imagine Gant now, like, just picking up his
Yeah.
body and going,
Yeah.
I'll just hang this over here.
Gant is like the kingpin from the Marvel comics and movies and stuff. He's like really freakishly strong. So he just picked up the unconscious body and hung him up like a coat hanger, except on a sword. That's fucked up. Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword?
What a douchebag. Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. Thank you!
I told
because
you it
made
wasn't him.
no fucking sense for him to write Emma on that.
Yes.
A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And make Lana believe her sister did it.
Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of a victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer.
No!
Did he just electrocute himself from the inside? It's finally all over.
Lana? Oh, he objected. Okay.
Objection!
That was close, Ryder. You almost had me.
Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute the allegations.
Okay, but what does Goodman have to do with all of this? Goodman knew. Goodman figured it out.
We're still gonna get into that after we solve the case of 2 years ago, and then we can all go like, oh wait, Goodman. Ah yeah, that's why we're here together.
I fully believe Bruce Goodman lived up to his last name. And he was being a good man and figured out that something had gone horribly fishy.
And therefore he had to die.
He went to Gant and went like, I think Lana did something. And when he went, no, stab.
What do you mean you refute his allegations?
You see, that piece of cloth is illegal evidence.
And now we get the book.
Yeah.
Order! Order! What nonsense is this?
Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Urgie? Earlier, the writer here concealed that piece of cloth. Yeah, he did. But so did you. For 2 years. We did it for 2 minutes.
Now where's that book? So we can throw it at his face.
Oh, wait. Now he is applying rule number 1, that it didn't go through the police, even though he specifically told us to use it and he is the police, like Tifa pointed out.
Now we're going to say, point to, like, here, take this book, read it, and there we go.
Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence.
At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence.
But that's not fair!
Did you actually think you could best me in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son.
Stuff like this, though, is such ridiculous It's so ridiculous that it's disgusting. Like, it's not an unknown thing for there actually being evidence to convict someone, and it's like, well, this is illegal evidence, so we can't use it, and therefore you're a free man.
The fact that somebody would stand in court in front of all of these people and say all of these things, why are you arguing whether the evidence can be used and not the fact that you didn't do it, allegedly? You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, oh, you got me, but ha ha ha, you can't.
Yeah, you got me, but you didn't count to 5 before you tagged me.
Now
Alright, now use rule number
34.
34 to finish off Gant. I would argue, Mommy, that when you use rule 34 on Gant, it is most commonly used to finish off yourself.
Oh my god, say your line.
Gant, this is not the behavior of an innocent person you do here. Yeah, he's saying the quiet parts out loud.
Oh.
I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth.
True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal.
Well, Mr. Wright.
It is not. Bottom tier.
The judge is truly peak unbiased, completely ignoring illegal evidence. Hello, bottom tier, happy Sunday. And yes,
the judge knows it's not illegal.
I get that the judge needs to act a certain way so that the plot can happen, but if this judge shows up in the other games, how does he keep his job? Even if he gets out on a technicality, everyone knows he is the actual murderer.
But it doesn't matter. But
never found guilty. It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived.
Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth?
Safe.
Oh, fine.
Also, I need to pee.
What?
It's getting exciting. You have 2 options. I do it here, or I go to the bathroom.
Well, then do it here. Your camera cuts it off anyway. Fine, BRB.
PRB.
We're back.
You're in luck. Let's finish this.
We did not
illegally conceal this piece of cloth because it can't be illegal, because the piece of cloth is in fact critical to the actual case. Rule number 2, people.
His Honor actually owns this country's legal system. He just acts as a judge as a hobby. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
If only he was better at it. I admit I refused to present it at one point. So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't.
What do you mean you couldn't?
Because Gant said it. There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence.
No, it's not because Gant said it.
Yeah.
He's gonna go with, oh, I didn't get approval before the case.
Yeah, and then
so
Gant said to do it, so now I have permission. Yeah.
And then he can go, oh, but it does have to do with the case, so now I can do it.
Now I think this is still rule number 1.
Well, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's not illegal.
No, Angie, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe.
There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Mommy reading
the text.
The text.
Thank you.
Hi. Is this evidence legal or not?
Very well. Let us settle this once and for all by show of hands. Everybody who believes it's legal, raise your hand now. Cool. Done.
Democracy.
The chair. Earlier you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now.
It's a picture book.
Yes, I know. I've been throwing that out already.
It's so cute. Look.
Look at this duck.
When you send somebody a text message where you write, look at this duck. Please, when you type duck, never make a typo. Because the second letter is really close to a letter on the keyboard that changes the sentence dramatically.
I don't think you needed to explain that.
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. Oh, what's this?
So why do we need to show the book?
I showed you my duck, please respond.
We could have just gone according to law, this is legal, there you have it. Why do we need to show a book for kids, basically?
I know, right? I can't have people thinking I visited the local dock. Exactly. Exactly. Because some people cannot handle when people go to the dock to look at that many seamen. I should have said much. I ruined my punchline. Sorry.
I'm just ignoring this.
I said many, not much. Very clearly implying people. Come on, please. I've done my homework too, Chief. Go to the judge. Bruh, have you looked at the book? Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Crap, you're right.
I was right the entire time so far, in case you didn't know. Like I say, oh, look, it's
No,
the
Tifa.
book. And then he goes like, it's the book. And like,
No, Tifa, you were Emma Sky this entire time. I'm Phoenix Wright,
no, I'm the fingerprint.
I guess. Julie filter. I come from a family of fishermen. We too are seamen. Seamen. Seamen, just like fish sticks. It's one of those words that is really important to pronounce accurately. Not like Tifa does.
You can't mispronounce fish sticks.
There you go. Still you're lying, you're
sorry.
Edgeworth. I see men every time. You can ask your doctor about that. I think they make pills to stop that from happening.
I don't have a good pun to add into this. And I don't think I want to have a good one.
Nothing good ever comes out of that, no.
I don't have...
It's a sticky situation to find yourself in.
I don't see seaman, but I do see Goodman. Not because he dead. But no. No. Okay, see, that's why I didn't
Just
try.
carry on. Just read the line.
Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department.
I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe.
Saul Goodman? No, Bruce Goodman.
Close. One of them is dead. It goes without saying I did not have approval from the police department.
Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial.
And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when was that picture presented?
That was shown only a few moments ago.
No.
He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless.
The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant.
You yourself confessed to a certain truth.
Yeah. Why are we talking about an A-Team knockoff, the Seaman? The Seaman is the A-Team porn parody. And I would be shocked if it doesn't exist.
Can I Google it?
After the stream, in incognito mode, yes. Yes.
I don't do Googling in incognito.
And if it doesn't exist yet, if it exists after the stream, you stole my idea and I won 10%. I'll tell you my account details if you PM me.
At least give us some credit somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not asking for 69%. Be happy. No.
It It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the Chief of Police, personally approved this cloth.
The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer, and there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you.
There we go. I think you laughed yourself to death there. That was very good though.
I think that's actually a thing that happens in one of the Batman stories. Like the Joker uses a gas that makes you laugh until you suffocate because you don't breathe. What the fuck?
I feel like you missed a few ha 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 ho 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 wahaha's there, but you did pretty well.
Fair is fair. I had two options. Do it as it was written and die on the second page, or give you the abridged version. The Seaman starring Jack Hammer.
And now I don't have my clapping emote. I mean, we're all clapping there.
It's fine, I feel the claps.
That was a good moment.
I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum.
Scum? You say.
Everybody please be happy I didn't mispronounce that. God! I think scum is one of the main plot devices in The Seaman starring Jack Hammer.
I called my duck scum.
What?
Took you a second.
What did I just hear? What?
I named my duck Scum.
But ducks are adorable, why would you give it...
Oh, why not?
If you were trying to hide like a dirty joke in there, I think you obfuscated it to the point where it just sounds like a random gibberish line.
Well, it worked the first time you made me say it. Or the first time I said it, and then you made me say it again, and now it's lost.
Can you all backseat me really hard on the thing Tifa just said, please? What does she mean? I don't get the joke.
Just keep going.
For 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Not touching this one.
That's probably for the best.
Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me.
Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. Petty or pretty petty?
Both. He wanted to reinvestigate the case. He recruited Angel Starr and convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right.
That's how he got into play.
If evidence is transferred, I lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you got to help me.
I miss doing his voice. Goodman turned him down as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit.
We're finally getting to the why.
Yeah.
He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence.
Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to find a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. And all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? You're Goodman.
Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief?
Bunnies!
We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered.
Here's my answer. Stab. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said,
It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall.
Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that cursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out.
Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime.
Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the flow, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. Oh god, I see a wall of text. But first, that day, Gant killed him a 13th time. Yes!
Sucks to be Goodman, man.
Bruce Goodman dies every day. Can you live with that? 10 years ago.
Yeah, this one is yours. You already started it.
Why did I do that? Here's this music is perfect for that. Listen to this for a second. This is the moment you chose, Mommy. 10 years ago, an ass crack inspection unit was sent to an STD. 10 years ago, an ass crack inspection unit was sent to an STD testing center by a military court for a sexual crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from a maximum security orgy to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the CEO of The Hub, they survive as sex workers of fortune. If you're sexually frustrated, no one else can help. And if you can find them, maybe you can hire the Seaman.
Good thing they only go to Los Angeles, huh?
Yeah. Did the game just say ass crack inspection?
It was checked, yeah.
Yes.
The game would never. This is all on Mommy.
Yeah. Yeah. To add to that even more, not only was it an ass crack inspection unit sent there, it also happened on Penis Inspection Day.
Hate it when it happens.
Yeah, I was never prepared for that day.
We should have more ass crack inspections, IRL. You should talk to your boss about this.
Yeah, I'm sure people, I'm sure you can find people on the internet that would be more than willing to oblige. But at least from my experiences using like public buses and like trains and stuff, I would not be interested in this at all. No. More inspections, more attention to Movember. What's Movember?
Movember, that's... Sorry,
I've not heard of this one. I've heard of No Shave November and No Nut November, but what's Movember? The original says Crack Commander Unit, it was an evident choice. Fair enough, yeah. Fair.
It was a matter of time until we circle back to buttholes. In the end, it all comes down to the same thing.
Yeah, it does.
We have a very long history of buttholes in this room.
And cannibalism.
And cannibalism. And a lot of other things.
Oh, November is when for some reason to raise awareness for prostate cancer they grow out their mustaches all November to fundraise. Oh, true, I've seen this.
I have seen that, yeah.
Yay for cancer awareness, never understood the mustache thing. Yeah. I mean, gotta do something, right? And it's something that most people can participate in.
I suppose, yeah.
I guess like if the bar of entry is as low as possible, you have a higher chance of more people like doing it together with you.
It's also something you can show. I mean, you can also go for, hey, I'm not gonna shave my balls, but...
Yeah, it's harder to take a selfie of that on most social media and just show that to people. This is easier.
I mean, you could. I'm just saying that...
Stop waxing, now I have quite the gauze to participate. That would be very sweet of you, and I appreciate the spirit of that.
Well, it's almost November.
Little bit, yeah, true.
Like how we both do the...
Isn't that the international sign of checking the time?
Yeah, but is it also for the month?
Yes. No, that's the other arm.
What watch have you worn that also says the dates on it?
Most actually do. Almost, don't say that, Tifa, it's still July. It's true.
True.
Oh, a little bit of a tease. We already found one of, if not the apex, the pinnacle game for this year's November streams.
We don't do, for those that don't know, we don't do Halloween games in October.
Because we always forget.
because, you know, we kind of forgot, we were too late with finishing a game, so we moved it to November. So now we play horror games in November.
And we found a wonderful game to act as probably the end, the cap of it all here. Yeah. So to me, I'm looking forward to it being November already. Every day.
Yeah, that's
scary. You don't know the half of it. You know what's also scary? The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere. I guess I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it.
Then you put the body in my car?
I'm sorry, I couldn't think of any other way to move a body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? Whoa. I wish Motonard was here right now. Because I think it was Motonard in particular pointing out the trunk itch of Miles Edgeworth, allegedly. We haven't seen it yet. So, I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? It's different.
Only to you.
Motonard, I blame you for those thoughts in my head. You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, better them than him, no? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out.
So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker?
I felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments and the glove? Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. Gans doing more than just clapping his hands? Yeah, you know it.
I'm surprised he's now confessing to everything.
I think this is the I'm coming clear of my crimes before I get sentenced to death kind of moment.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Be like, fuck you all, I'm not talking.
Never!
You will finish this game wondering about the why, and you shall never have it.
No, honest psycho, no. Potentially, but they all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay.
Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that.
Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court?
Me?
You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. It takes all the clapping. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Aji.
What?
Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend.
I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I'm so disappointed in you. I'm saying your full name. I knew you as you used to be long ago.
Objection.
Yeah, I think you misread that.
OBJECTION.
Hello, Ranger. Happy Sunday. How are you doing?
OBGE, give me a C and then some
Tion.
objection.
No, you're not the same. One of you is orange.
How are you doing, Ranger?
I still don't get the orange part. Is it just because of his dress? Hola. How are you doing?
How's the house coming along?
You were once a... Wrong voice.
You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person.
Those days are gone now, Aji. Thanks for all the memories, Will. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Now you have Writer here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact,
You can only go right.
Not only can you only go right, you can go for miles and miles and miles.
It's gonna be a worthy trip.
Yeah, I think Jack just ASMR'd OBJECTION, or did I miss here? Did I misspell it?
B.
Okay.
Los Angeles.
Let me do it again. Okay? OBJECTION. OBJECTION. Much better. To clarify, was John Dark an actual serial murderer?
Yes, he was.
Potentially. We don't know that yet.
No, his story was correct.
Was he though?
Yes. We just didn't have enough evidence in the previous killings to commit him to it. To convict him for his crimes. That's why.
But how do we know?
Started. We know.
See, the truth will out. Tifa's already hiccuping. She's at a bookshelf on my comics on Blu-rays. It's hilarious how much space we have. We've been so condensed for so long. This is nice.
This is nice.
I'm
it's
so happy
always
for
nice
you.
to have so much space open.
And more space to have is also a good thing. But it sucks when you have to clean up the house and there's more space to dust and vacuum. Trust me.
Well, at some point the kids will come to an age.
Yeah. True. Give them chores.
Jack is an actual serial murderer. He killed Bruce Goodman at least 3 times.
At least.
At least. Potentially.
Probably more.
Maybe 4 times. In fact, I can already hear them.
Wow, not even sticking to how it's said.
In fact, I can hear them already.
Thank you. Like that completely changes the line.
Melodious sounds of a new beginning. I don't know if you'll hear that. Just saying. There are 2 things I want you to understand.
Yes.
First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky? You no longer have any reason to keep silent.
You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today.
So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered.
I'm sorry, Miss Sky. I couldn't get you out of all your trouble.
My. What high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top.
We just did all of this with Gant. How dare you still call us a rookie?
I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright.
Miss Sky?
And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. We have solved impossible cases though. I think we have lost our rookie status.
Yeah, I would think so too. Especially with the difficulty of them. Yeah.
We have solved cases everyone gave up on and was like, it's this person. And then we were like, nope. I feel like everyone else is more of a rookie than us in this matter.
Yeah, they should be.
So glad the Iron Giant exists.
So take a break to eat while Eli is fully engaged by his favorite movie. It's a good movie.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen The Iron Giant?
No.
We should watch it at some point.
You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing.
Don't thank me. Liar.
I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. We don't even get the credit. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it! I only did my job.
Stop it.
I'm blushing.
You know what really messes with me? She thanks Phoenix. She thanks Miles. What about Emma?
Well, Emma couldn't have done it.
We couldn't have done it without Emma.
I mean, that's not the point here, and she doesn't know how much Emma did in the case.
So good, Tifa. I think you would like it. I think she would too.
I'd absolutely watch.
In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us.
Except us.
Yes, especially you.
Miss Sky,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're innocent of murder. However, all the chief blackmailed you the fact that you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling?
It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains.
Swing.
There we go.
Well, this trial has been going on far too long already.
I agree.
I feel that. Yes. Yes.
About 25 hours. Too long.
It's been 84 years.
Regarding the charge of a murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty.
Oh, confetti! Woo.
Clapping for the truth. Clapping for justice.
Woo.
That's not confetti, those are hairbands.
That is all. This court is adjourned.
February 25th, 5:03 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. We finally got here. They have actual fucking confetti now.
Hey, how else are you gonna celebrate?
They did that in all the cases. Yeah. This is how you confirm that no, you don't get executed.
Whee!
Yay!
But Kent does. Woo! This person's going to the chair.
Yeah. You live, but another person will die. Yeah.
Basically.
At long last, it's finally over. Oh. Emma? Why have a long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit.
No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended?
I thought of all the microplastics everywhere. Yeah, it's fine, it's paper confetti.
I'd want confetti if I wasn't being executed. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Same.
I can see why Mia Fey thought so. Oh wait, just a bit in the...
Is Emma gonna be sad because she didn't get fanged, as she should be?
You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me.
Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals.
Yes, you do.
As always.
No, guess I am. I'll come back later.
And now we call him back.
Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it?
And now he has something for us.
You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty?
I thought you worked for us.
And to top it off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals.
This is the 4th time we've had this very same scene, I believe.
Hey, lighten up, pals, I'm only kidding.
Oh, are you here because of my sister again?
Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, Pearl.
Me?
That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone.
Lana!
Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know?
It's fine.
Well, I won't tell if you want.
I already lost my job. So.
He's fired.
What are they gonna do to me? Fire me again?
How bad is the Japanifornian police that this guy who's been fired just walks in there?
I'm borrowing her.
It just takes so long.
Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess.
I feel that.
Sis, I asked Gan to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me.
If only she hadn't asked Gant to do this whole illegal nonsense and they would have just investigated this properly, none of this would have ever happened. None of this. It's amazing.
No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have.
I'm so happy that for the last 2 years you spent doing illegal things every time you took a breath at work, basically. Yeah, no, I'm super happy, and now you completely messed up your career for the rest of time. Nice. You are basically unhireable in the law.
That doesn't matter. It's about the emotional connection here.
No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from there that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching the two sisters make up.
Mr. Wright? Mr. Gumshoe?
Me?
Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
Edgeworth?
Stop hiding and come over here.
He's hiding behind the plant in the background.
Or the little lamp thing that looks like an ashtray.
Genocide Jill is like that. The game isn't done yet.
Genocide Jill just managed to get away with her crime this time.
True. It
but
wasn't
there will
a
be
knife.
more cases.
Those were scissors. Where was he hiding?
I just came to say, you're welcome. No. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. We're not gonna have dinner again?
Guess not.
Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. Doesn't matter, Edgeworth will have this stain on his career forever.
You know, originally his jacket wasn't this shade of purple. It's that color from the dried blood of the people convicted with forged evidence.
It used to be black, but it's slowly turning into a pink color until he's the true criminal.
Yeah, I took the little hairbands away from Tifa because she was doing like this with them.
Yeah, overreacting.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realized today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right.
Why are you trauma dumping right now? Can't we just have this little moment of celebration?
She asked.
True.
I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now.
But Edgeworth...
Who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor.
She asked, we didn't. Thank you, Lali. Thank you for pointing out this simple but effective truth.
Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma.
They are one and the same person.
We're both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime, but they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright?
The only weapon I need, Tifa, is friendship.
So you're telling me the weapon
was inside of us
all along?
Yeah. Suddenly murder weapons appear out of my throat. Huh? What? Oh, yeah, what is this, a pop quiz?
The most important thing is the evidence we make along the way.
None of this would be necessary if they just showed each other what they found. Real friends were the evidence you conceal over. Tifa was about to write.
The real friends were the evidence we concealed along the way.
Psycho, you've been with us now long enough that our thoughts sometimes overlap. And that's not gonna change back again.
That means it's too late for you now.
There is no cure for this.
Next week you'll be sitting at work or school or at family or wherever you may be, and you'll be buttholes.
And then you're gonna think buttholes. And then you're gonna sit there for a moment. And then you're gonna try not to laugh about this, but then you're gonna giggle to yourself, and then you're gonna feel really cringy because what if somebody just caught you giggling to yourself?
And then you go, what pretty socks you have.
When you're gonna look down, see your feet, and you're gonna consider, I wear socks. And then you're gonna turn slightly red, and nobody will know why. Yes, I will think about that. Exactly. Exactly.
My favorite weapon.
Projectile vomit. No. Do you realize what you just did? You put the weapon in the joke. Why do you think it's called projectile vomit? Huh? People ever thought about that? It's not just vomit. You're not just like hurling. No, it's projectile vomit.
You're trying to aim for something.
Yeah. Who are you trying to shoot with your projectile vomit, huh? I see you, mommy.
Come on, Mr. Wright. Show him what Lana's talking about.
Really quick, I finally know what the F18 in Call Me Mommy F18 stands for.
What?
Fatal 18. That's your amount of victims, isn't it? Doing plus 10 poison damage. It works. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Ashworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. The Blue Badger?
What did we get together?
Oh! The evidence list!
Oh yeah, we worked together on that.
Oh, it's like a cute couple medallion where everybody has like one half. Aww.
That's the picture I drew.
Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture.
That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Ashworth.
No, Mr. Ashworth, it was a canon event.
It's time for me to go. Mr. Ashworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that needs wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. I'm quite sure this is ex-Chief Prosecutor.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she's unemployed as of right now.
There is no way she gets to keep her job after this. But then, I say no way, but this is Japan-California. Like, you can't get fired, so...
I mean, we also didn't get fired from being her lawyer, despite her saying you're fired. I killed Bruce Goodman 18 times, you got me. Finally, the truth is out.
We knew it! After 84 years, you finally admitted it.
So game, make you get it right, or is it possibly don't solve the case? What Psycho said, you can get game overs. And we did once. And whenever we were unsure, we safe scummed the heck out of the game. Yeah. We went for the canon route through the game. Ashworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you.
I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem.
Ashworth, I'll be waiting for you in court.
This is where his spin-off happens. Farewell.
16 action-adventure games where you play as Miles Ashworth, discovering the truth about the world, but mostly about who he is deep, deep inside.
I better be going too, as if you have a choice. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. It seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Oh, it's
That's
another
adorable.
duck book.
Duck books, best books.
It even has the on the picture.
With a huge magnifying glass. It's adorable.
Scientific investigation? It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis, I will. It only has 2 rules in it.
Scientific and investigations.
If you invest, rule number 1, if you investigate, it has to be scientific.
Yeah.
Rule number 2, if not scientific, you do not investigate.
Correct. And there's actually like a 3rd page with breathing exercises. Psh, 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 psh. Also, exactly. Yeah. It just makes sense. It's like it wrote itself.
If you don't do the psh, psh, correct, it doesn't work. Like we figured it out already.
That is true. The one time we didn't do it with all our soul into it, it failed.
It failed.
And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. And as for me, I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Also, Deep, the last thing he saw in his mind was Edgeworth.
Well, don't go tracking off just yet, Pearl.
Uh-huh. What is it, detective?
There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this.
But
I thought you said it was okay.
Yeah, well, maybe okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story.
Huh?
Basically, you had to bribe a gun on to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either.
Huh?
way to go, detective! I didn't know you had a wild side.
Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here's one who'll be footing the bill.
Huh?
We haven't gotten paid for a single case though. We're broke.
We have never received money for our services, and the money we don't have, we're spending on bribing a prison guard. How do we still keep a job too?
I like how in both games we're playing at the moment, Omori and this one, people are trying to
make us pay
for things.
Yeah. No, for fuck's sake. Yup.
What, do you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, Pearl.
Huh?
Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best.
Why is it?
You know what? I feel like since it's your sister, you can pay the bill. Like at your tender age, you can absolutely afford it.
Yeah, just sell your lifetime supply of luminol, don't you? Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys, let's go.
Yeah, I would also object to going in a group to bribe.
Also, perfect time for the title screen.
Oh, it keeps going. Quick!
I arranged for a friend to come. I hope she'll be pleased to study under another top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. I missed all the things. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma.
Why would you look away? It's just like the last credits.
I didn't expect that to happen.
Look forward.
Okay,
We have lines to read. None of these
watching.
people are dressed for court there. Yes, they are. This is Japan and you can wear what you want.
The majority, like Gumshoe and stuff, were...
Yikes! I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. It just goes to show you can't shake me off that easily.
So he did get to keep his job, okay.
Yes, because firing him is too much work.
Well, I think we just want him in the next games too.
Yeah, otherwise we have to redesign and
Otherwise
do
we
a
need
new
to come with a
character,
new
so.
character, yeah.
It's cheaper to keep him, basically.
Who we're still gonna have? Oh yeah, Meekins, of course.
My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner is keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm going to make detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe.
You got it, Meekins.
Like that Dick Gumshoe or like that Dick Gumshoe?
I believe
Cadence
in Meekins.
matters here. I hate Meekins. I really don't like Meekins. No.
I believe in Meekins.
Least favorite character.
Best character, Blue Badger.
Blue Badger gets his own credit scene.
I'm most shocked though that the handprint on his face didn't mean anything in the end.
Look at me.
It's just...
No!
No!
It broke.
Wow.
Okay, kill the game. I'm not gonna play this anymore. This is the worst game ever.
I was so sure Meekins was sus. He was sus.
Yeah.
Meekins was sus.
What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss Star managed to sneak this in on me. This do me. She's seeing one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, looks like you did it. He even gave Bambino back a smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get the water?
No. Yeah. Also, why is it that when Lana was speaking, she had like super long lines? Oh, quick.
Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a while.
Who's Billy again, the cactus?
As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu, the right way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer's as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout meal. Just make sure not to eat it backwards.
You need to speak faster.
She
This is
speaks
the
slow. You can't suddenly speak fast.
But you don't have time.
Oh. But yeah, Billy is the cactus in the security room before the...
I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left. Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I'd better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, I gotta go.
Oh, now we see the chair. Fancy.
We didn't need to. If you do auto-scrolling text, check your timings, please. Also, just don't do auto-scrolling text. What would be so bad with just this not being a video?
Well, it's the credits.
Oh.
It always happens. Ah, nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm in full-fledged spirit medium.
Mystic Maya, afternoon training is about to begin.
Coming! Well, see you around, Nick.
Oh, he went to visit her. Did he finally take a vacation from...
Oh, sweet.
Never
Well, he did
getting
say
paid.
he was gonna do something else.
That's true.
We deserve a vacation.
After episode 5? Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
We absolutely do deserve a vacation. Ah. Speaking of vacation.
Exactly, Tifa. Exactly. No. Mr. Edgeworth?
Ah, it's the bellboy.
Mr. Edgeworth, I brought you your tea. What's going on?
Termination letter?
Oh, did he finally quit? You think? A resignation letter, man.
He did say he wanted to.
It's true. And he said he would need to... but he wouldn't be able to continue this.
Thanks for coming to see me off, Deja Vu. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. We actually get to look at it.
Let me guess, there's a picture of him in there. Oh.
Aww.
I was gonna say, don't we get a clear shot? That is a cute picture.
How sweet.
That's it? No Edgeworth.
What do you mean that's it? Well, Edgeworth gets a spin-off.
Where's the Edgeworth scene?
This is so that you don't know what Edgeworth is going to choose, and now he gets a spin-off. We beat the game. Oh, perfect timing though.
Tifa, as is tradition, how did you like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney?
I liked the first few episodes better than the last one.
Yeah.
Like, this last one took too long and had a little bit too much bullshit in it for me. I did like the
Gant was a
characters.
bit too
though.
much.
The characters were good.
I liked how... I liked Gant's motivation. He was just this super self-centered piece of shit asshole that goes to unbelievable lengths to get ahead. But I would have liked it if he was less in your face. Like, I understand the whole, oh, I'm so full of myself, I'm so in charge, so in power, that I can just like threaten you to your face in front of everybody and nobody will even think twice. But he kept doing that. And I've been like when he came back, like, by the way, Lana, super happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish, but if you speak up, Emma's going to jail. You know, that was like...
Yeah, that was, especially in that moment, pretty ridiculous. Benjima, how are you doing? More Ace
Happy
Attorney?
Sunday.
We'll definitely play the other Ace Attorney games.
But not right now.
But not right after this. Like, especially after this last trial, I need a little Ace Attorney break. So we're gonna do a different game first.
I'm better now. I'm glad to hear that. But
Very nice to hear.
still, how'd you like the game?
Sorry, I'm having hiccups here.
How are you? I'm glad we're done with this. No, this might sound like I didn't enjoy the game. I did, but I'm with Tifa here. Please don't puke, it wasn't that bad. I liked the first 4 episodes. Like the original game, that was nice. There were a couple things, like the backtracking. You can tell the game was made 23, 22 years ago, something like that. It's like from 2001 originally, I believe. And back then we didn't really like do as much streamlining our games, I guess. So that showed. I did like the story. I liked that the characters were all like entertaining in their own rights. Yeah. I'm guessing Emma will come back at some point to help us whenever Mia isn't around. Because
I'm quite sure.
No, Maya. Mia is our old boss that died.
Maya will return in the next games.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that when Maya isn't around, it's gonna be Emma, because why would we get a whole episode with her, and why would they go with, oh, we'll see you again at some point?
Didn't she only come later though?
Possible.
Like that? No, I mean this episode came later, like after the other games. So I don't think...
I don't know after which one, I don't remember.
Oh, so I don't think we'll see her immediately.
Potentially.
The one thing I feel a bit bad for is Goodman. Like, he was the main victim in this case, but he didn't feel like the main problem at all. Goodman was kind of like brushed aside to solve this whole other thing, and then Goodman felt like the side guy.
But, well, at the same time,
it
also was like that in some of the other cases, like in the very first one with Larry Butts, where his girlfriend got killed.
I mean, it kind of made sense, but...
Like, there wasn't... We didn't talk about it too much, right? The focus was on Larry, and he kept coming back. So, oh, well.
Yeah, sorry.
Get your shit together. I have to say the heated theme, I don't know the name of the song, when stuff happens in court. The Mortal Kombat. That song is really cool, and I wish there was more like that, because they keep reusing like the same 3 songs throughout the entire games.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it also doesn't really bother me.
I
love the Blue Badger bits though. Those were great. Those were great.
Pursuit Cornered. Thank you. That one. Yeah, I like that. It has kind of like Mortal Kombat, kind of Mega Man vibes. I like it. In general, I would like it if there were more music pieces. I don't know if there are more in 2 and 3 and the other games, because again, the first game was made for the Game Boy Advance originally, and like very little in terms of getting music onto the thing.
I don't think I would have really noticed, honestly. Like the music kind of blended into the background at some point. It has some really good moments.
The music isn't bad. Like it never struck me as like this doesn't fit. This doesn't match how I feel about this moment. But I'd like it if there was more. Maybe this is like super subjective. Maybe it's because we're playing Omori at the same time, and that game just spoils you with amazing music. And there's so much in so many different songs.
Yes, I can't really compare it. Each game has its own pursuit theme. Okay.
After this, I'll be way more character themes. Okay, so I kind of
makes sense.
Get what I wanted. Yeah. Music was not bad, but doesn't leave an impression. With a pursuit theme, I would recognize.
Yeah, but it's also not like I'm gonna look this up after stream and put it on.
Yeah. Best music, honor music. It's pretty good.
It has some really good beats in there.
I would recommend everybody play Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright if they like visual novels or like these murder investigation games. But episode 5 is a stretch. It's a stretch.
Like I was prepared for it to be long, but it just felt too long.
Yeah.
It felt like we've spent just as long playing episode 5 as 1 to 4.
It did.
Well, there you have
it. It did. Half the time we played Ace Attorney was episode 5.
Well, there you have it. It was a bit too long for my taste. Could have been shorter. Might have improved it.
One thing I will definitely do when we play the other games, I will always have that walkthrough open in the background. Always.
Well, it might not be necessary, because in the first few episodes we were completely fine.
Yeah, and here we didn't need it again either. But that, like, being stuck for like an hour, like not realizing what you have to do, therefore going to every single possible option and combination to figure out what is it that we missed, it eats so much time. But yeah, I like the game.
At some point we will come back to Ace Attorney, don't know when yet, maybe after the game we played now, which we still need to decide on too.
Yeah.
But it was absolutely worth it.
And my recosplay turned out so cute, by the way.
Oh, it's finished.
And yeah, if you want to share pictures, please do. You can drop it in Discord in the pics channel. Yeah.
Did you already get to use it somewhere?
Well, I mean, you put it on. Isn't that well? Oh, true. I mean, you could be getting it for a specific purpose, like going to a convention or something. Yeah.
You don't usually put it on and only walk around in your own house or something. Like for stream or like somewhere else. I believe you mentioned it honestly in a previous stream.
I like to dress up for myself sometimes.
I don't.
And by that I mean I put on pants because I work from home. Like this game without episode 5 has like Gumshoe, Maya, Grossberg have their own theme, but from episode 5 onwards there are way more characters with their own theme. Alright.
Well, I look forward to meeting the other characters.
On Discord, drop it when I get a good photo. I did a preview on my Twitter.
Ooh, can you click on it? I can't see anything on Twitter. Every time I try, it's like, oh, you need to log in.
I see it. I see it.
It kind of breaks my heart.
Yeah, it makes me want to cry right now.
The sun shined brighter when she was here. It's like, ugh.
What I need even more is picnic pictures.
Oh, you gotta carry around a picnic basket.
Just the preview, I'll post a full one this week. Alright?
Photos and conventions, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Marie.
And just like that, suddenly this stream also had Omori spoilers. It happens.
Yeah, next week we might
I mean, not
finish
fast,
Omori too. Like finishing 2 games.
Potentially on
One
Tuesday.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe on Tuesday already. Maybe Wednesday. See how far we are.
I
now I need to come up with 2 new games.
How did it get spoiled? No. You didn't spoil anything for us. I'm just saying this is originally a Phoenix Wright stream, and now we're talking about what happened to a character in Omori. Like, we know what happened by now, but if somebody just came in like, oh, I'm really looking forward to watching these people talk about Phoenix Wright and then play Omori afterwards, which I just started.
Jack's overthinking things,
Yes,
don't
I
worry.
am. Yes, I am. Don't feel bad. I think we can finish Omori on Tuesday, and that means we can play that game on Wednesday.
You really want to play that on a Wednesday?
I want to play that game on Wednesday as like a palette cleanser photo.
I mean, okay.
If we don't finish Omori on Tuesday, then we finish on a Wednesday, and then we can play that game on Friday.
Okay, well, if you want to. We're not gonna say what that game is yet to keep it up, but Jack found a pretty wild game.
Listen, I randomly stumbled upon a game months ago when they announced it. And I thought, this is dumb. This is really dumb. I'm not gonna play that. Ever. I don't care. Click the article away. And then, teaser, I watched this year's Summer Games Done Quick. And they speedran the game there. And then I thought, this is really dumb. But it looks like the kind of dumb that I find fun.
It looks like our dumb.
Yeah. And so I figured, after like the brain-wrecking Ace Attorney and the everything-wrenching Omori, this is the most 180-degree opposite direction thing you can do from both of those things.
So yeah, it will be a good thing to break apart, but it's probably like a one stream thing. Like I don't think that's like a...
I don't think we might finish it in one stream. If we don't, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's not a game where I see ourselves playing it more often.
Maybe we too can become speedrunners.
I mean, we are currently the number 2 world record holder.
Still true, unfortunately.
But yeah, we still need to argue about what other games. Is Omori tomorrow? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Tuesday and potentially Wednesday if we don't beat it on Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe finale, maybe not.
I think finale. I feel finale.
We're getting close to things.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. Tifa, you know what I also believe? In me asking you whether there is somebody for us to raid.
As a matter of fact, there is, because Youth went online and usually Youth does like these super awesome crafting streams, but today she's playing Phasmophobia.
Okay, so after being scared that we will never end episode 5 of Ace Attorney, now you can be scared of ghosts and other paranormal beings. That sounds like it works. I cannot spell anymore. Did I spell it right? Yes.
Yes, you did.
If you can't stick around for right, please click this link for later. Check her out when you can. You should. Youth is pretty cool.
I can't believe we actually finished it.
Yes, we did. I feel like I should now be able to walk into a courthouse and take over for either the defense or the prosecution. I feel
or
I am
the judge even.
Or preferably the judge. He has the easiest job, at least in Japan. I fully feel like after finishing Ace Attorney with you, I am perfectly equipped to become a lawyer in real life.
Well, I'm just happy I can now finally have a good night's sleep after figuring out what happened to Goodman. I mean, this poor dude has been killed so many times. We can finally
I agree.
Put it to rest.
Yeah.
Lay it to rest.
Both.
Both work.
Both. I mean, he had been laid to rest by Gant in the trunk, but too soon?
Hey, at least it
Potentially.
was in a fancy sports car.
True. Tifa, press the button.
Pressing.
Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. If you can, please stick around for it. We'll be back on Tuesday with more Mori. See you then. Bye.
Bye.